Hi there, I'm at Peekaboo. It's March the 8th, and you know the brown paper bags that I had covering this bin, they kept drying out at the edges, and I was finding little worms that were on the state of dehydration in these dry edges. And even the bubble wrap didn't quite make it to the edges. So paper bags aren't like corrugated cardboard. They don't hold the moisture quite as well. So I decided to rip up all this paper. Not only is the bin got really good moisture to it because it's starting to accumulate castings, I added a whole bunch of Gilligan's worms to this bin recently. So I thought by just mixing in these brown paper bags and making them part of the bedding rather than the covering on the top, that the worms will be able to get to them, and at the minimum, the worms won't get lost in their convoluted folds anymore. They'll always be able to find their way back to moist bedding rather than these brown paper bits leading them into basically a maze where they dehydrate. But I do want to feed them. We have added quite a few worms from Gilligan. And so maybe what I'll do is in the middle here, I'll create a feeding area. And we are running out of worm food in our freezer. We thought we had, huge amounts of worm food. And it actually is we're right down to our last little bits. And what I have now is this is what was going to be like a compost roll to keep some worms warm through the winter. So I made some worm food, packed in cardboard with already some castings and some pulverized vegetables mixed into it. But I'm going to take the extra cardboard out. There's another piece of this preformed cardboard here. I'm going to take the cardboard out this food and just use the pulverized food portion, because obviously I've got enough browns here with this brown paper bags that I've torn up. This is probably about 4 or 5 brown paper grocery bags here, and that's more than enough to cover up this food and give the worms something to eat. But there's quite a few worms in here now. What started out as just my bedding bin has become quite a thriving worm storage bin. These worms will go outside soon. As soon as the weather warms, just another week or two, it's going to be warm enough overnight. It's dropping down a couple cold nights, and then it's supposed to go down no lower than like 5 degrees. Oh, I better cover up that banana a bit better than that. That's a recipe for disaster. Maybe I've got too many browns underneath. There we go. Cover it up a bit better. So after the weather warms a little bit, these worms will either go out into the newly revised Gilligan, which is replenished with manure and some of the the remnants of the preformed cardboard from the technology purchase. So we'll either put them out there, or we'll put them into our worm towers, which are in the garden. So I want to give each worm tower sort of an infusion of fresh worms so that they get busy. We did, have some natural worms that were put into them, and because we put manure in them, there was also manure worms in them. So they do have worms, and obviously any worms that were in the garden itself when we were finding worms in the garden. So the worm towers do have worms, but we thought we'd put some more in there. So this is Peekaboo then, and I'm not going to I don't have any corrugated cardboard right now cut up to fit here, but I do have the bubble wrap. And there is sufficient of this brown paper on top that, it's darkening a little bit where the food area was. The worms are a little bit mad at me for tearing up all their paper. So down you go. You want to get them underneath this And there they are. They'll be, I think, better now to be able to eat up these brown paper bags. And in the meantime, I will try to find a better piece of cardboard for the top so that I'm not finding the dehydrated worms in those brown paper bags. All right, everyone, that's it for Peekaboo today. Bye for now.